So basically with the token security API, you can test any address if there's a malicious address or not. And as for the 2C product, we launched in March. So far, we have 12 million wallets already connected to that and 60,000 paid users. So the free function allows a user to connect their wallet to do a quick scan. So the quick scan will tell you how healthy your wallet is. Like basically you go to a hospital, you do a scan to see if there's potential risks. So if there's any, you will see the notification how you can fix them. And we also have the RPC. So the RPC is a paid service. So user can set different parameters when they're interacting. For example, if you go on Twitter, you want to participate in a campaign, in case it's a scam, the system will detect that for you and it will stop the transaction.
We're at Marina Bay Sands, one of the biggest hotels in Singapore during Token 2049. And we have the pleasure to interview Brian, the marketing lead at GoPlus Security. So thank you so much for coming and talking to me during the first day of Tokens. You're essentially prioritizing this conversation with me over going to the main event. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you for having me.
Could you tell me a bit more about yourself and your journey into crypto?
Okay. I'm Brian. I joined crypto in the end of 2017. I was running a node on EOS. Back in the day, that was one of the biggest public chain. After that, I actually went back to Web2, mainly like doing the applications on the App Store. So I would say like I'm pretty seasoned marketer at like applications. And with this knowledge, I get a chance to come back to crypto again, because now you see everything we're using is even they call that a dApp, but it's actually an application plus on-chain transactions, right? So bringing my expertise in Web2, now I joined GoPlus Security for the past 3 months, helping GoPlus Security to acquire more users, because now in March, we just launched a product that is to every user in Web3. Yeah.
Could you tell me a bit more about this transition from Web2 to Web3? I'm sure that there's some transferable skills as a marketer, but what were the main skills that you obtained within the Web2 realm,
right,
and you think are super useful in your new role within the Web3 ecosystem?
Yeah. To be honest, like I went back to Web2 because when I started off in Web3, I feel like most of people don't understand what marketing really means. In a traditional business, marketing means bringing revenue, but in Web3, it means first I spend the money without knowing what the result will be. So that's one of the biggest difference. In Web2, everything you invest is more data driven, right, or more revenue driven. It will in the end translate into revenue. But in Web3, most of the companies, they are still at a very early age, and then they don't know how to manage their marketing budget. Also, I think they don't know what is essential. So I remember in Web2, there's one of the most important roles called CRO, which is a conversion rate optimization. In Web3, I don't think many companies understand the importance of conversions. They wanted to do conversions through external paid marketing efforts instead of like focusing on their own product, and then just keep learning from the data you already have and keep optimizing that.
Nice. And one question about KOLs. What's your opinion on KOLs utilizing budget to essentially pay influencers within the industry to post about your project? Do you think it's a successful approach?
I think it's very necessary. I mean, we have seen that in Web2 as well. They just call that affiliate marketing, right? So you give them affiliate link, but everything will be based on the conversions or the number of clicks that they bring in. In Web3, when I just joined, most of the KOLs, they don't accept this. They just accept either allocation when the market is doing really well, right? If the marketing is doing, I cannot curse now.
No,
if the marketing is doing like really shit, nobody wants your allocation. They just prefer to get a cut prior to they do any effort for you. But recently, I see there's a shift because there are some, for example, some exchanges that I've been talking to this time during Token 2049. They told me they are working out a revenue share, like affiliate marketing solution with the KOLs now without like a big amount of commitment at the beginning. I do think this is going to be the trend. Everything will be more transparent and will be more fair as well.
Yeah, and let's go to GoPlus Security / Labs, because your website is Labs, but no, it's Labs, but it's easier to find as security. So could you explain that to me? Just the game of words.
Yeah. So when we incorporate the company, the vision is the security labs. So we will have a suite of different products catered to B2B as well as B2C. But for the past 3 years, we are more focusing on building a product for B2B. So most of the wallets explorers are actually using our API. We're probably the biggest provider right now. And this year, at the beginning of this year, we're building a solution that cater to everybody in Web3 can use this simple solution to secure their wallets.
Thank you so much for explaining that to me. Could you tell me a bit more about the token security APIs and also the 2C products that you provide?
Right. So the token security API is pretty straightforward, and we also have this entry point on GoPlus Security website. So basically, with the token security API, you can test any address if this is a malicious address or not. And as for the 2C product, we launched in March. So far, we have 12 million wallets already connected to that and 60,000 paid users. So the free function allows a user to connect their wallet to SecurX to do a quick scan. So the quick scan will tell you how healthy your wallet is. Like basically, you go to a hospital, you do a scan to see if there's potential risks. So if there's any, you will see the notification how you can fix them. And we also have the RPC. So the RPC is a paid service. So user can set different parameters when they're interacting. For example, if you go on the Twitter, you want to participate in the campaign. In case it's a scam, the system will detect that for you and it will stop the transaction. It will revert the transaction for you.
Nice. And could you just tell me a bit more about the parameters they use to identify how healthy one of the wallets are?
Yeah, so there are numerous parameters they're using. They will see, for example, from the contract side, whether this contract has bugs there, if the contract has been previously been reported, interacted with some other malicious chain. So they use a very complicated system. I cannot say 100% all the parameters they're using. That will be left to our tech guy will have the answer to that.
Okay, yeah. And I'm sure that the readers and viewers can definitely read more about it. Could you tell me more about the roadmap and what have you planned for the rest of the year?
Yeah.
But also plan for next year.
Yeah. So there are a few things that are in the pipeline, but the two things are most relevant. The first is for the developers. So right now, our service is not fully decentralized. So we're aiming to be the first Web3 company, a security company that moving everything on chain. So soon we will using the 8 layer AVS system. So instead of the traditional AWS, we'll be moving fully on chain. So this allows all the developers to stake our token. We will have a token called GPS. So they can stake the token and run their nodes. So we will enrich the whole data. So we already have a very rich database, but then when we allow everybody, to build it in an ecosystem, we will have a bit more enriched data, so people can participate more openly, secure as well. And the second thing we're doing, which is something very interesting, is called AI bot. We already finished the testing. So this AI bot, for example, you feel like, oh, I did something wrong today, but the token is not lost yet, or is lost, it got scammed. You can immediately ask this AI bot for help. So they will tell you what you need to do next. You just have to ask your questions. So if a larger amount of token getting scammed, we have a sort of mechanism to gauge the possibilities of getting the money back. And of course, this comes with a fee, right? So you can be the one to decide whether you wanted to move forward with this or not. Because we see scams every day. I mean, I personally got scammed a lot of money as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for having me on the podcast and sharing your story, your journey into Web3 and working within this in the company to help people ensure that they have comparatively secure ecosystem. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.